When people enter the entertainment business, the greater distribution companies are the ones who have control over their name, their label usually, and any creations that were made within said label. So when you see people coming back and reincarnating and doing something similar that they did in a past life, it's basically like they didn't complete their cycle yet. And so I never really put together that Future could possibly be Jimi Hendrix reincarnated. I mean, one's a rapper and one was a psychedelic rock star, but same industry, not too far off. Now, Future's real name, Nevadius Damoon Cash, equals Jimi Hendrix, but his alias Future Hendrix also equals James Allen Hendrix, which is Jimi Hendrix's real name. You're able to pick up on a lot of this by the projects that they do. Imagine if you reincarnated and you came back, you would choose a similar name or maybe even a similar alias, projects or creations, family members. The cycles would repeat themselves. So we all know Future put out an album called Purple Rain and reminded me of Jimi Hendrix's Purple Haze. Future also sang a lot about drugs earlier in his albums and careers. Now, while Jimi Hendrix never came forth and said that he actually did psychedelics, most people do attribute songs like Purple Haze and some of his other most famous works to his psychedelic experiences. Now, when I say storylines repeat themselves, I mean this all across the board. So, on the Purple Rain album, you have the song Wicked that was released April 13th, 413, another 314 backwards. A producer on this song and a songwriter was Metro Boomin, also known as Leland Tyler Wayne, who was born in St. Louis. To those codes before, but this specifically made me think of the story of Wicked, and I keep going into the story of how the Wizard of Oz and all the derivatives and holds a similar theme. And so Purple made me think of the book by Ruth Plumley Thompson called The Purple Prince of Oz. Of course, this goes back to the similarities between Jimi Hendrix and Prince, which then I would have to go back into my codes about Michael Jackson and Prince, the beginnings of the We Don't Trust You tour, and that's a whole nother multiverse in itself, but we'll get into that on another video. Yeah, Hendrix, Jimi Hendrix, it's an alien. Now, is Future aware of this? I don't know. He could be. Maybe he's not. It really depends on the person. I think if they have an awareness of who they are or who they've been in a past life. Because there were always the comparison, the similarities between Prince and Jimi Hendrix. Of course, you can see why he might have named his album Purple Rain, like the album Purple Rain with Prince and the Revolution. Purple Rain, the album, one of the studios that it was recorded at was at St. Louis Park in Minnesota. People meet up with similar energies to do the same things over and over again until, of course, they repeat their cycle. And we all know that purple is associated with the crown chakra, representing enlightenment. This is tied to the financial world, the spiritual world, and our overall physicality of reincarnating into this life because there really is no end and there's no beginning.